Bill Wurtz's History of the World and History of Japan are major reasons why I ended up doing reaction content on YouTube. Well, unfortunately, Bill Wurtz doesn't put out a ton of content, and there's so many things you could do history of too. That leads me to today's reaction video. In my suggested feed came up a video that was titled History of the United States, I guess. Now, immediately I was like, oh, did Bill Wurtz come back? But no, this is made by somebody else. And this YouTuber is Krispykarim. So I watched only the first 5 seconds or so, to be honest, and saw that it was in the same editing style as Bill Wurtz. So I wanted to give this a shot and add what I can to it. And this video just came out a couple weeks ago and it is getting a ton of hits. So I'm hoping I'll like it. You know, the Bill Wurtz videos have some of the most high-tech, intense editing that I've ever seen. And that leads me to this. Today, I'm excited to celebrate 1 year of Skillshare sponsoring this channel. And over this past year, I have learned so much from Skillshare's courses. And hopefully it's coming through with the videos. I know I've still got a long way to go though. For example, the most important thing I'm still focusing on right now is editing. You know, being a smaller YouTuber, I can't afford to pay an editor to do videos for me. So it's important that I learn the skills for myself. And one of the courses that's really been helping me is Jordy Vandeput's class on editing on Skillshare. Because I know editing is extremely important in helping people keep retention in your video and to make your video stand out from others. But you know, Skillshare can help you develop skills in basically anything you can think of. So to help me celebrate 1 year of Skillshare sponsoring this channel, Skillshare is offering you all a free 1-month trial. So please check out what they can do for you. You've really got nothing to lose. Use the link down below to get started with your trial right now. And thanks again to Skillshare for supporting the history education community here on YouTube. All right, let's get back to the video. All right, let's check this out. Again, this is my first time watching this. I'm excited to see a video of that style of Bill Wurtz for the United States. This should be awesome. I'm excited. Let's do it.
The United States is a country on Earth with 50 states. It's powerful and it's American. It's pretty cold, and
he's
human
totally
beings
got
are trying
Bill
to spread
Wurtz
all
style.
over the planet. They reached the edge, and they got sticks and
Clovis
babies.
people.
Hey guys, check out this bridge. It goes to the other side of the world. And there's a lot of food. Oh, nice.
All right, nailing the style right now. But yeah, talking about the Ice Age, right? So coming over the Clovis people. It's kind of this super ambiguous term, though. It's basically what people are saying, just the early people that came to North America without much of any type of actual like distinguishment of them. It's a piece of archaeology and anthropology that is still, you know, heavily needing to be researched more.
Well, you're all stuck now. Okay,
Yep.
so people are chilling out on the land, gathering food and hunting mammoths. Well, they died, but they got a backup. Hey, now that we got food and land, let's form a society.
Society.
Oh, someone just discovered gambling, but more importantly, someone just discovered farming. Wait, we could have
Wait, what was
just
the
planted
gambling
stuff in the
thing?
ground? Yeah, and soon everybody learned about this, planting corn in the process.
Yep,
Hey, now
maize.
that we got farming, let's form a better society.
You know, corn, of the biggest domesticated products that have ever come out of the Western Hemisphere, which isn't a lot, especially when it comes to animals, but crops as well. Maize, the ancestors of corn, by far the most important, as it's one of the major things in all food products today, and civilization built upon it in the Americas. I mean, it's one of the highest calorie per acre foods that we have. But maybe the biggest achievement technologically when you look at things that came out of the West.
Then they make some hills. Then they die. But they still make those
Mississippian
hills,
culture,
making a city
Cahokia.
around one. Meanwhile, the Mayans become so obsessed with this.
That's right.
Then they
Their astronomy
collapse.
is great.
Some natives in the West liked the desert, building their town under some rocks. North America was getting pretty diverse, pretty complicated,
Ancestral
and pretty
Puebloan.
beautiful. Sort of. The Aztec and the Inca empires are getting started. Wait, hold up. Check out this boat. Knock, knock. It's Columbus from Europe. Yo, what's up, my Indians? Where my spices at? Columbus politely asked as disease killed the entire population. Hey, Spain, I found India. India? And so Europe began legally assaulting the...
Because, you know, Columbus never knew, you know, that it wasn't necessarily India. It was just, you know, somewhere off the coast of Asia somewhere, right? And I guess technically he's not wrong. It's just bad because it's so far. And as you guys know, Christopher Columbus was turned down so many times for his voyages because his mathematics for the size of the world was so bad. He thought the world was way smaller than like any person would have thought. And we're talking people that knew this stuff like in ancient Greek days. That's why everybody, again, turned him down. So he went to his grave not knowing exactly where he was.
Americas. Sorry guys, give it a second. Wait, this isn't even India, but dang, check out these resources. Hey Portugal, I'll take all of this and you take this tiny chunk because I'm better than you. In the meantime, let's use the
The Pope set that line. It's a line of demarcation. The Portuguese and the Spanish both were having claims around the world. It's not just from America. Portugal was the first country in Europe to go and European country to reach Asia, and Spain was trying to get involved in that too. And they were, having arguments about who gets claims to what. And both as Catholic nations, the Pope stepped in and said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're basically going to put this line in the, at this part of the world, a line of latitude. And this side is going to be uniquely, Portuguese when it comes to claims, and this side will be Spanish. And there are some exceptions to this, right? There's Portuguese Brazil, and then there's also like Spanish Philippines. But for the most part, they kind of stuck to their side, where Portugal's going to focus on spices in the east, and then the Spanish with mining and agriculture. Don't get their spices, but they're going to get plenty of mining and agricultural opportunities in the west.
natives to do the work for us, but the natives died, remember? So plan B.
About 90%.
Check out
90%
the
of
new
natives
Columbus
died.
Triangle
Colonial
thing,
exchange.
now in business. I want a bigger slice of that wealth cake, suckers. The British are off to
Everyone's
set
in
up a colony.
now.
Second try, by the way. And they did it. Look at that tobacco.
Well, and so much of them coming over wasn't even just to get territory in the Americas, because it was still not known what the geography of the Americas was. The Dutch, the English, and the French, a lot of them, or they were trying to find Asia as well. And where they do is with the Spanish kind of, exhausting a lot of the options in kind of the central and southern parts of America. The British and the Dutch and the French, they tried to find routes north, right? Is there a northern passage? And there isn't. They exhaust all the possibilities. You can go up the St. Lawrence River, which is the best you can do. And you can't really go north of Canada because you have the Arctic. So that's a lot of them ended up doing, but you did find lots and lots of land that's going to pave the way for all these settlers, replacing land that Native Americans are going to be dying from, and genocides going down with that. As well.
Kind of sucked religiously. Ew, said the pilgrims sailing away for Jesus. Dude, let's make some colonies.
There's so many
with
things to
more
comment on.
colonies
It's too much
in the
though,
middle.
right?
I can't eat pork, but bacon just made slavery popular. England still sucks.
Slavery came
guys,
immediately
check out my
with
new
these
crib.
guys.
You can do whatever you want. Check out those immigrants. Let's talk about the South. Here, slavery was a big hit. What did Britain do about this?
By the way, why slavery a bigger hit south and north? Agriculture. In the north, not nearly as much plentiful land and the climate to do the agriculture that you can in the south. North has, good port cities like Boston, New York, go upriver with Philadelphia, but the South's climate and land makes agriculture better. So immediately when you have people settling, you got your timber and your trade coming up north, and then agricultural society in the South starting immediately in the 1600s. You're also going to get the development of what's going to be in the United States, a very different culture between the North and the South, with of course this developing for a couple hundred years and peeking its ugly head in the North, or in the North and the South with the American Civil War. Right. And since agriculture benefits from slavery so much, that's why you're going to see such a high slavery count in the South than you are the North.
Nothing. Sweet, we're free.
Great Awakening.
Because we gotta stay Christian.
Whole bunch of
Europe
new
was
religions
getting
popping up.
intellectual. The colonists heard about it and started reading stuff like John Locke, Adam Smith, Toad, Understanding Liberty and Democracy. Check this one out. Britain and France are killing each other. Britain wins, and they're broke. Damn, we need some cash.
But
Hey, can we go west? No. Also give us money. So Britain starts taxing the
no French and Indian War? Okay. Let's talk about that. So they talk about the 7 Years' War, which was a global battle between Britain and France for colonial and imperial supremacy in the 1700s. They fought on pretty much every continent, and a part of that war was fought over kind of the Midwest, if you want to call it that, the Ohio River Valley. But Britain and France fought each other for the territory in North America. And since Britain won that, the territory and kind of a lot of the claims from France end up going into the British. I tell my students, if you ever need to remember who won the 7 Years' War, just remember which language you're speaking. And as it's English, that's going to basically solidify that English and the British are going to be the dominant force in North America. But he's right about what's happening now, which is although Britain won, it basically bankrupted their country. And to make up for that, they started taxing their colonies in the places where they were fought. And part of that was in their 13 colonies in North America as they start to increase those taxes. Although the tax rate was much lower in the Americas here than it was actually in England, which surprised a little bit the English in, wondering why the Americans were causing such a fit about it.
Hell out of the colonies. Something just happened in Boston.
The hell
and
out of
Revere
it.
told everybody, let's dump some tea in the ocean because they taxed it. Hey, Britain, can you stop ignoring us? Britain didn't really care. They just kept doing it. Okay, we gotta talk about this, people. So Britain's clapping us right
Good
now,
artwork,
but I think
I like
we can
it.
still make peace with them. Look, another shooting. And Revere told everybody. That's
Start of the
not
war.
happening since
Shot heard
Thomas
around the
Paine
world.
writing a book about independence. Now people hated Britain, and they declared independence. You guys suck.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't know, independence wasn't declared for over a year after the fighting technically started, like in 1775 at Lexington and Concord, and it was still at that time, up to that point, not necessarily that the Americans were wanting revolution. In fact, when things were starting out, it actually was a pretty radical opinion to say the Americans wanted independence. They just wanted more freedoms and they wanted representation in Parliament and things like that. But it's as the war was going on that you start to see people slide a little bit more into the opinion that America needs to be, the United States needs to be, free. This territory, these colonies need to be free completely. So there were, still years of potential negotiations up to this point.
Psst, you want to team up against Britain?
France is coming
They
in.
destroy Cornwallis, and they win. Get out of here, Britain! Now we're in control. Bro, we need a government. They create a
Thank you, France. We'll get you back in World War I and World War II. Got to feel bad for the French, though, because the French basically got nothing out of helping the United States. And it also helped ruin their economy even more so, which is going to lead to the French Revolution. The French monarchy, again, was not over the fact that they had lost, back in the 7 Years' War. And this was a way to stick it to France again. So Americans may not have won this war, or would not have won this war without the French. So if you feel bad, again, we could say United States help you out in World War I and World War II.
Constitution, but a bunch of farmers made it fail. Okay, we gotta talk about this, people. We need to remaster our government. The states had some ideas. Let's just do both.
It's interesting.
Congress and stuff.
You went bad it so fast. We went without a constitution in our country for a few years. Basically, it was just like states are going to rule things. And we found out it was too difficult to do that. So we went years without a national constitution and a federal government. It's called the Articles of Confederation, was the closest thing we ever had to something like that, which had very, very basic things. You can look at it, but not enough to, probably be able to govern and organize a new country that was expanding to.
People like this, but some people didn't like it, so they add 10 rules to make sure they like it. We need a leader! So they invent the president, and everyone made it this guy because he was such a legend during the war. Nice bank,
The traitor to the
Hamilton.
British.
Wait, how strict should the Constitution be? Yes. Goodbye, Washington. Wait, he's got something to say. Don't
That
make
debate has never
political
ended.
parties. Worst mistake of my life. Okay, said America, creating them anyway. Hey, can
Yep.
we not follow the law?
Washington had some pretty good foresight in a lot of things about terms of presidents and political parties. But you can see it didn't matter. I mean, the same issues that we were talking about in the 1700s are the same ones we're talking about in 2000s.
Whoa, France is going cray-cray right now. Probably because we did that. Napoleon wants to remake an empire with this huge chunk of land he's got. He failed.
doesn't want it anymore.
Might as well sell it.
He doesn't
Hey,
care.
do you want my land? Okay.
Thanks, Jefferson.
Some people saw Jefferson as a hypocrite after.
It literally doubled the size of the United States overnight, the French territory. Napoleon didn't want to worry about North America anymore. He's more focused on Europe, sold it for pennies on the dollar. One of the biggest financial successes the Americans ever had with that.
After this. I did it! I ended slavery!
Oh, and it's
said
going to be even
Eli
tougher
Whitney,
now for Native
inventing something
Americans.
that just increased it. What is
Yeah,
Britain doing?
Slavery was actually on its way out before the invention of the cotton gin. That brought it right back up.
Dude, they're stealing our semen!
I'm stopping too much.
Never mind, it's land. Let's go!
Don't tell the Canadians.
Nice, new reform movements. Now slavery is becoming controversial.
War of 1812. Industrial
Yo, they're using
Revolution.
machines now? What the heck? And it made the North more complicated. Everyone's
America was perfectly set up for the Industrial Revolution. The Civil War helped amplify it. Major reason why the North beat the South was because of the more industrial nature of the South. The United States had everything you would need for Industrial Revolution. It had labor. It had a government that was supportive of it. Has natural resources out the wazoo. It was a perfect place for this to be supercharged here. With an economy that was already strong, built on the back of slavery, it had all the ingredients.
He's moving to cities, and slavery's still bad, but you know it's balanced perfectly. Hey guys, I want to
Not
become
now.
a state,
The Western expansion
specifically a
happens.
slave state. Yes, sir. Preach. Screw you. We're adding Maine to the gang. Hey Europe, stay out of our area, you're pathetic. Henry Clay just announced a dank new system. We'll be good if the South didn't hate it. John C. Calhoun's evading taxes again.
That's scary looking.
I want to remove the natives. You
Oh,
can't.
Jackson.
Why? Because we said so. Okay.
He
And
did.
he removed the natives. Check out the Whigs versus the
Horrible
donkeys.
Trail of Tears.
Industry is fire right now, but factory working is horrible. Let's just stop working.
Manifest
Let's go
Destiny.
west because we're American.
US should
They
get
go
all
west,
of the
kicking
North
the
America.
natives in Mexico in the process. A lot of Irish people just died, so everybody starts
Fatal famine.
immigrating to the country. This sucks.
Yeah.
Said
A lot of anti-Irish immigration too that came along with that. Them moving in to work at agriculture, work in the cities. One of the places where you saw Europeans, heavily prejudiced against.
the Know Nothing Party, knowing nothing on foreign influence. We got more land, but how do we use it? Okay, that new land from Mexico, no slaves here. You can make a political party out of this. It didn't work, but it did piss off the South. Don't worry, I got this, said Henry Clay again, adding California after our gold thing happened there. It didn't go well. Frick it, let's let the people decide. Never mind. The woman just had a
There we
pretty
go.
cool meetup advocating better rights. Introducing the elephants, as if donkeys weren't enough. Hey, excuse me, I'm in the north and my
Oh,
master
Dred
died.
Scott.
Can I be free? And be like a citizen? No. Cause you're black. The nation started falling apart. After all, the
Rough
last
decision
several
there.
presidents didn't
Dred
really even
Scott.
do anything.
Lincoln.
Guys,
Based
I'm Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Slavery is disgusting. I'm running for president, by the way. By the way, he won. Wait, guys, I won't take away your slaves. Just chill for a bit. Yeah. Nah.
Can't put words in Lincoln's mouth too, though. In his campaign, he was pressed, and things like saying, "Are whites equal with blacks?" And he's like, "No, I've never said that before." And he's like, and slavery's fine where it exists. I just don't want it to expand. That became Lincoln's platform that way. When pressed by, Stephen A. Douglas and others.
The country's fighting itself. Guys, we need to fight like a snake right now. I'm gonna free the slaves.
Doesn't matter.
Except it
The Emancipation Proclamation is so interesting. Did you know the Emancipation Proclamation only freed slaves in the rebellion states, the states that seceded? Because technically not all slave states joined the Confederacy. There were states that didn't. And when he frees the slaves, I always wonder about, Emancipation Proclamation. Like, do you really think that when Lincoln sent this thing off to a set of states that no longer consider themselves part of America, it's like they got there, their Congress has got the Emancipation Proclamation. We're like, oh crap, Lincoln freed the slaves. I guess they're free now. Well, no, there's still a war that has to be fought about it. It's like the Declaration of Independence. Okay, you can sit there and sign that. Okay, America, we're free now from you, Britain, and give it to King George. It's not like King George read that one. Oh, I guess they're free now. There's still a war that has to happen. But the Emancipation Proclamation is so interesting in that fact that, yes, it freed slaves in the Confederacy, not the ones in the United States. Weird.
didn't really do anything, but it did change the idea. Now we're
It
destroying
made the war about
slavery.
slavery.
Yo, but we're still fighting pretty good. Not anymore. The North just set the South on fire, and they eventually died. Hey, nice,
Sherman.
we won. Lincoln's actually chilling now. And he gets assassinated. Great, now we gotta rebuild everything. The South kind of
Andrew
still
Johnson,
did slavery
Andrew.
and pretended the war never happened.
Pretty
the
much.
whites wanted to stay the best race, so they start using violence.
Jim
And now
Crow
the
laws.
U.S. was looking beautiful on the outside, but disgusting in the inside. Businesses became bigger, but the working conditions became badder. This sucks, said the Knights of Labor. Yeah, we're only taking skilled workers, bro. Hey, farmers, do you hate railroads?
Let's get the
And
Luddites
mechanized
in here.
farming? Introducing the Grangers, now the populists. The South was getting more industrialized, but now more racist. No, trust me, it's separate but equal. I'm gonna buy.
Yeah, and it's not like when the Civil War is over, the Southern whole mindset was like, all right, we're all equal now. We're all going to have the same economic opportunities. You're going to have job opportunities and equal pay and schooling and all that. No, the South dragged its feet incredibly until a lot of government intervention and even military intervention going down during the Reconstruction era to start to do this. And then even that, it's going to take decades and decades of new laws and constitutional amendments and stuff to try to break apart the status quo that was still trying to be established in the South.
Bye, everybody. Wait, why don't we donate all our money for society? Sweetie, let's focus on the cities, which are garbage right now. Introducing the progressives. Let's fix that crap.
Yep.
Oh, shoot, we just ran out of land.
Imperialism!
That's some good grub right there. But Spain controls Cuba.
Playing the main on Spain.
You sunk our ship? Bro,
No.
we didn't even do anything.
They didn't.
Now we got
Never
that
actually
grub,
happened.
including the Philippines? This is lit, said William McKinley, getting assassinated.
Yeah, took over the Philippines out of that, and we're telling the Filipinos if they fight for the Americans, they'll get more like independence. And then the Spanish-American War ended, and Philippines just became a territory all the way until after World War II. So we get 50 years of occupation by the Americans, though. A little bit of the taste of American imperialism in the early 19th century.
And they lose Cuba. The United States becomes a world power while doing some other stuff too. Sherman's vice president, not William Sherman, this a different Sherman, under the new president, William Sherman. Taft.
You stuck in a tub
While Europe's killing themselves in this war, the US was actually chilling.
and making money.
Germany just ruined it. I'm gonna show you what democracy feels like.
Bill Wurtz
Wait,
and-
we already did this scene. After the war, Germany was the Duns forced to pay a lot of money. Check out the League of Nations. Can you guys join it, please? No.
Nope, we
Whoops,
don't.
the disease just killed
United States, well, I should say President Wilson proposes the League of Nations, and Congress shoots it down. He spent the last of his presidency and really the rest of his life trying to campaign for the United States joining the League of Nations, hoping that it could be a good power to have on that seat to prevent future conflicts. But the big thing is the American Congress was afraid that the League of Nations could dictate American policy, especially the right to declare war, which is one of the most important rights that the legislative branch of American government has, is the declaration of war, and didn't want to get involved back in Europe or lose that autonomy anymore. So interesting. United States joins it, United States never joins it, although they propose it, which brings an interesting question. If the United States had actually been in the League of Nations, would they have more influence to potentially settle the problems that will create World War II? Question I ask my students a lot.
everybody. Russia just became the Soviet Union, and it scared the crap out of
Revolution.
everybody.
Red Scare.
Alcohol just got
Communism
banned.
bad.
That's kind of sick. And women got the right to
Prohibition
vote.
failed.
Finally. Hey, blacks, tired of the South? Move to the North and share that epic culture.
Great migration.
The 1920s, we're now in cars, watching movies and breaking it down. And this stock thing's gonna do good. Just kidding.
And then
Hoover tried doing
Take that,
something but
Hoover.
failed. Then FDR
Hoover
comes
bills.
in with the New Deal, and it actually worked, but it failed. Yo, Germany's going wild. Italy's going wild. And
World War II gets
Japan?
the Americans
Guys,
out of the
we should team
Depression.
up and take over the entire world.
this is a great
Damn
video,
it, I
by the
gotta
way.
run for a third term. The US did their same brilliant move and was actually just chilling. Japan
I'm
wanted
loving
more
this so
land,
far.
but they were scared of the US, so Japan spits on them. They declare war,
Scared of the U.S. I mean,
and the others declare war.
maybe. I mean, the attack on Pearl Harbor was in direct response to America embargo. United States putting the embargo on selling oil to Japan, which was necessary for their imperial ambitions. Japan imports is completely reliant on foreign oil, and they mostly get it from the United States. And Japan didn't, or the United States didn't like a lot of the Japanese imperialism. They're also threatening land by that was colonized and territories of allied nations like France and American interests in the Philippines, of course. And use that embargo as a way to show some strength against Japan, which then directly led to the attack on Pearl Harbor. So, and then rather than, it intimidating the Americans into ending the embargo, brought the Americans into the war. So, big old backfire for the Japanese.
War on the US. Hey, that's what friends do. The US is making a big fat bomb, like a really big one. We gotta take down Germany, man. They're freaking crazy. So they take down Germany. Then the US starts taking down Japan. Roosevelt died and Harry Truman carries on the presidency. Mr. President, we can't invade the mainland. Our soldiers will die. Bro, let's just use the bomb. So they drop it on Japan. Twice.
War over.
The war ended after that. Goodbye, League of Nations. Hello, United Nations. But we got a problem. These
League
two
of
don't
Nations
even like each
2.0.
other. They started
Cold
another war,
War.
now with nuclear bombs.
Scary. Yep, that's what everyone
Yeah,
thought.
maybe we shouldn't do that, but I still hate you. It's alliance time, baby. Now with other countries to
NATO,
back us
what's
up.
up?
Also, Germany's in shambles. It's like the hotspot. There's some
NATO,
other
big
wars
deal right
going
now.
on and stuff.
Still going.
Back them up. Look, it's communism, and it scared the crap out of everybody. The
scared
two
too?
superpowers wanted
Everyone's
to
a
be better than the
communist.
other in weapons, wars, allies, and now in space. The Soviet Union just put a thing in space. Oh, heck nah. Then the US creates NASA. America is booming, like the population. Everyone's got television, and fast food becomes a revelation. Like, we're talking about the first McDonald's here. Wait, Cuba's communist? This results in the end of the world. Almost. Screw this, said Kennedy. We're going
United
to
States
the
is
moon.
so scared of that. You know, although the Americans, you know, had nukes and allies in places like Turkey right next to Russia, the Americans didn't feel like there was much of a communist threat right next to the United States until you know, Castro, and until, you know, the communist takeover in Cuba. And then once, you know, there could be plans for weapons in Cuba, the Americans said that is enough. Cuban Missile Crisis, closest we ever came to a war with the Soviet Union.
And he gets assassinated. Racism is bad. Civil rights time. Buses, education.
It'll take another
marches.
100 years
shoot,
after World
Luther
War,
King,
or
man?
after the
He's
Civil
standing
War.
for equality to fight racism, and the U.S. agrees. Dude, I saw him, man. Why is everything sexy? Lyndon wants to take Vietnam to the next level, so he sends a lot of troops. The U.S. slapped the Soviets in their face and landed the first dudes
Proxy
on the
wars,
moon, introducing
space race.
Richard Nixon, and he's done with Vietnam.
Not a lot of people know that the Russians beat the United States in basically every milestone of space technology except landing a person on the moon. But first to put a satellite, first to put a person, first to put something on the moon, a whole bunch of other milestones. Even put something on Mars. But I love that in the United States, once we landed a person on the moon, we basically said, we won. Fantastic.
Because it's a disaster. There goes Watergate ruining Nixon's career. Now nobody trusts the government. Iran just had a revolution, kidnapping multiple Americans because Jimmy Carter
we
and
still
their
have
king were
problems with
best
Iran.
friends. It's Reagan time. Technology is getting better too, and the world's more connected. Oh my god, bro, it's computers. You can check emails and play games on it. I'm gonna make things more free to you guys. This makes the Soviet Union collapse. But hey, at least Germany's back
Cold War's
together.
over.
Companies start becoming bigger and bigger. Thanks, Bill. Some
Multinational
buildings just got
corporations.
bombed. Happy New Year. Then obliterated. Then
A lot of people don't know that the first World Trade attacks that were a good 10 years before that. You can look into it.
war starts over that. Surprise!
Completely
Everyone's got a
changes
cell
American
phone
foreign
now.
policy
There's
now.
the Earth where I was actually born. It's on fire, and the economy crashed again. Surprise! Obama, and now Obamacare. It's like healthcare, but from Obama. Now you can talk to people online on your phone. Now you can order stuff online on your phone.
manners?
Everything just got shut down, and it just got
COVID.
political. And canceled on Twitter. Then we buy the universe. Or maybe go extinct. I don't know.
This was fantastic. Let's wrap up, and I want to know what you think down below. All right, I'm hoping this video can now tide us over a little bit while we hope Bill Wurtz is making his next video for whatever he decides. Maybe he'll do the United States. Although this was very good, and just, I mean, if you had, you know, switched out the voices for Bill Wurtz, I don't think I would have even known the difference. I mean, he obviously nails it and gets it, but I thought it was a great job. That was fantastic. There's so many things, again, I could wish I could keep going, but this video is long enough. You have to look for smaller video topics throughout my playlists and throughout what I do to get a little bit more on that. But nevertheless, let me know what you guys thought. I thought this was fantastic. Let me know down below what you thought. Hey, a big thing right now is I'm going to put this original video link down below. I need you guys to go support this creator. He's new and did a great job. And let's make sure this thing gets in the algorithm that people can find it out, because it is fantastic. All right, with that, we'll see you next time. Bye.